When people are young, they believe one thing very strongly, that family will always be enough. They believe love will solve everything. They believe sacrifice will be remembered. They believe being there for others will guarantee someone will be there for them. But old age teaches a very quiet, very uncomfortable truth. Family is important, but family alone does not protect you from loneliness. Family alone does not give peace, and family alone does not make old age meaningful. This is something most people only realize after 60, sometimes after 70, when it is already too late to change certain things. In this video, we will talk about 5 things that matter more than family as you grow old. Not because family is bad, but because life is more complex than we are taught. These lessons come from elderly people who loved deeply, gave everything, and still felt empty inside. If you are young, this video can protect your future. If you are already aging, this video may help you understand your past. If this kind of honest psychological storytelling speaks to you, take a moment to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share in the comments what age you are watching from. Now, let's talk about the first thing that truly matters when you grow old. The first thing that matters more than family when you grow old is your sense of self. Most people spend their entire lives being something for someone else. They are a good son, a responsible daughter, a devoted spouse, a sacrificing parent. For years, this feels meaningful. It gives life direction. It gives identity. But old age changes the rules. One by one, those roles begin to fade. Children grow up and move away. Careers end. Responsibilities reduce. And suddenly, the question appears: who am I now when no one needs me the way they used to? Many elderly people don't talk about this openly, but inside, this question hurts more than loneliness. Because when your entire identity is built around others, their absence feels like the loss of self. This is where many older people feel invisible. They are still alive, still thinking, still feeling, but no longer seen in the same way. Not because family is cruel, but because life moves forward. Children don't stop loving their parents, they simply stop orbiting around them. And when that happens, the elderly person who never developed an inner life feels abandoned, even when love still exists. This is why your sense of self matters more than family. It is the part of you that remains when roles disappear. A strong sense of self means you are not emotionally dependent on constant attention. It means silence does not scare you. It means alone does not mean empty. Elderly people who age peacefully are not always the ones with the biggest families. They're the ones who know how to sit with themselves without pain.
One elderly man once said something very honest. When my children stopped calling every day, I thought they had forgotten me. Later, I realized I had forgotten myself. Old age exposes emotional gaps that were hidden by busyness. When life slows down, whatever you avoided feeling comes forward. If you spent your life ignoring your own needs, your own interests, your own thoughts, old age becomes uncomfortable. This is why hobbies, curiosity, and personal routines are not childish or selfish. They are psychological anchors. They give structure to days. They give meaning to time. They give you a reason to wake up that does not depend on anyone else. Reading, walking, writing, gardening, thinking, learning, these quiet activities build an inner world. And the stronger your inner world, the less desperate you become for external validation. Family relationships are healthiest when they are chosen emotionally, not needed for survival. When you don't need family to feel whole, you can actually enjoy them more. This is an uncomfortable truth many parents never hear. Children feel closer to parents who are emotionally complete, not emotionally dependent. Old age punishes emotional dependency, not intentionally, but naturally. Because people come and go, schedules change, energy shifts, and only one thing stays with you consistently: yourself. If you are younger and listening to this, do not wait until retirement to discover who you are. Build an identity beyond responsibility. Develop interests that belong only to you. Learn to enjoy your own company. And if you are already older, it is not too late. A sense of self is not something you lose forever. It is something you can reconnect with. Start small. One habit, one interest, one quiet moment that belongs to you. Because in old age, knowing who you are matters more than being needed by others. One elderly man once said something very honest. When my children stopped calling every day, I thought they had forgotten me. Later, I realized I had forgotten myself. Old age exposes emotional gaps that were hidden by busyness. When life slows down, whatever you avoided feeling comes forward. If you spent your life ignoring your own needs, your own interests, your own thoughts, old age becomes uncomfortable. This is why hobbies, curiosity, and personal routines are not childish or selfish. They are psychological anchors. They give structure to days. They give meaning to time. They give you a reason to wake up that does not depend on anyone else. Reading, walking, writing, gardening, thinking, learning. These quiet activities build an inner world. And the stronger your inner world, the less desperate you become for external validation. Family relationships are healthiest when they are chosen emotionally, not needed for survival. When you don't need family to feel whole, you can actually enjoy them more. This is an uncomfortable truth many parents never hear. Children feel closer to parents who are emotionally complete, not emotionally dependent. Old age punishes emotional dependency, not intentionally, but naturally, because people come and go, schedules change, energy shifts, and only one thing stays with you consistently: yourself. If you are younger and listening to this, do not wait until retirement to discover who you are. Build an identity beyond responsibility. Develop interests that belong only to you. Learn to enjoy your own company. And if you are already older, it is not too late. A sense of self is not something you lose forever. It is something you can reconnect with. Start small. One habit, one interest, one quiet moment that belongs to you. Because in old age, knowing who you are matters more than being needed by others. The second thing that matters more than family when you grow old is your health and independence.
Most people believe that love is enough to protect them in old age, that when their body weakens, someone from the family will step in. Sometimes this happens. Often, it does not. Not because family does not care, but because modern life leaves very little space for long-term caregiving. Children have jobs, deadlines, financial pressure, their own physical and mental exhaustion. And slowly, without anyone saying it out loud, help becomes limited. Visits become shorter, calls become rushed, and dependence begins to feel heavy. This is where many elderly people feel a quiet fear, not the fear of death, but the fear of losing control, needing help to stand, to walk, to eat, to make decisions. These moments change how a person feels about themselves. Dependence slowly replaces dignity, and this is why health and independence matter more than family. Because independence is not about doing everything alone, it is about having choice. A choice to ask for help, not to beg for it. A choice to rest, not to be forced into helplessness. An elderly woman once said something very painful. "My children love me, but every time I ask for help, I feel smaller." Love does not erase the emotional cost of dependence. Even in the most caring families, the elderly often feel like a burden. They apologize for needing help. They hide pain to avoid troubling others. They delay medical care to stay easy.
This silent suffering is common, and it damages mental health deeply. Independence protects self-respect. Being able to manage your body, your money, your daily routine. These are not small things. They decide whether old age feels peaceful or humiliating. Many people wait too long to care about their health. They assume it can be fixed later, but aging does not work that way. What you ignore in your 30s becomes limitation in your 60s. What you neglect in your 40s becomes dependence in your 70s. Small habits compound. Walking regularly, eating with awareness, sleeping properly, keeping the mind active. These are not about living longer, they are about living freely. Independence is also financial. Many elderly people suffer not because they lack family, but because they lack financial control. Depending on others for money shifts power. Suddenly, small decisions require permission. Financial dependence changes relationships quietly. You hesitate to speak honestly. You avoid conflict. You accept situations that hurt your dignity. And the pain of this is rarely spoken, but it is deeply felt. Health, mobility, and financial stability work together. When one weakens, the others struggle. Family support is valuable, but it should be support, not survival. The healthiest aging happens when family is a bonus, not the only lifeline. This truth is uncomfortable because it challenges the belief that love alone is enough. Love is essential, but preparation is protection.
Older people who age well often share one habit. They planned for independence long before they needed it. They respected their body early. They protected their autonomy. They accepted aging realistically, not emotionally. They did not wait for crisis to change. If you are younger and listening, take this seriously. Your future self will not ask how much you sacrificed. Your future self will ask how well you protected your health. And if you are already older, it is still possible to regain some independence. Movement can be rebuilt. Strength can be improved. Choices can still be made. Even small improvements restore confidence. Because in old age, freedom often matters more than closeness.
Inner peace does not come from winning arguments. It comes from letting go of the need to justify your existence. You stop explaining your choices. You stop defending your boundaries. You stop hoping others will finally understand you. Understanding yourself becomes enough. Many elderly people reach a turning point where they finally say, "I don't want to fight anymore." Not with others, not with themselves. This is not weakness. It is emotional maturity. It means accepting that not everyone will agree with your truth. Family approval often requires emotional sacrifice. Inner peace requires emotional honesty. And in old age, honesty feels safer than approval. Because approval can be taken away. Peace cannot once you build it. Forgiveness becomes essential at this stage. Not forgiving others to excuse them, but forgiving yourself to release the burden. Forgiving yourself for choices made out of fear, for staying too long, for leaving too late, for not knowing what you know now. Regret grows when self-compassion is missing. Inner peace grows when acceptance begins. Acceptance does not mean liking everything that happened. It means stopping the fight with the past. Old age does not demand perfection. It demands peace. The elderly who suffer the most are not those who made mistakes, but those who never allowed themselves to heal from them. Family may or may not understand your healing process, and that is okay. Inner peace is a private achievement. It does not need witnesses. It does not need applause. It simply needs honesty. If you are younger, learn this early. Do not trade your emotional truth for temporary approval. And if you are older, it is not too late to stop performing. You are allowed to rest emotionally. Because in old age, being at peace with yourself matters more than being accepted by everyone else.
The fourth thing that matters more than family when you grow old is meaningful connection. Most people assume family automatically equals connection. But aging reveals a difficult truth. Not all family relationships are emotionally nourishing, and not all meaningful connections come from blood. Many elderly people are surrounded by relatives, yet feel deeply lonely. Others live with very few people in their lives, yet feel emotionally full. The difference is not how many people are around. The difference is how safe it feels to be yourself. Meaningful connection means being heard without being corrected, being valued without being managed, being present without being judged. These experiences become rare with age, but they become more important than ever. As people grow older, they lose patience for superficial interaction.
Small talk feels tiring. Politeness feels empty. Forced conversations feel heavy. What they want is simple. Someone who listens. Someone who does not rush. Someone who treats their thoughts as relevant. Family roles often interfere with this. Children want to advise. Relatives want to correct. Everyone wants to help. But being constantly advised makes an elderly person feel reduced. An elderly woman once said, "My children talk to me like I'm fragile. My friend talks to me like I'm human." Meaningful connection does not require long conversations. It requires presence. A short walk together, a quiet cup of tea, a shared silence that does not feel awkward. These moments carry emotional weight. This is why many elderly people feel closer to neighbors, old friends, or even strangers than to family members who love them but do not truly see them. It is not rejection, it is emotional survival.
Loneliness is not the absence of people, it is the absence of connection. Family labels can create expectations. You should feel grateful. You should be happy we are here. You should not complain. Meaningful connection asks for nothing. It simply allows. As time becomes limited, elderly people become selective. They no longer want many relationships. They want real ones. They choose honesty over harmony, depth over frequency, presence over obligation. This shift often confuses family members. They think the elderly are pulling away. In reality, they are protecting their emotional energy. Emotional energy becomes precious in old age. It is no longer wasted on conversations that feel empty. Meaningful connection nourishes the soul. It reduces depression. It slows cognitive decline. It gives days emotional shape. This is why connection matters more than family labels, because labels define roles, connection defines experience. If you are growing older, invest in relationships that make you feel alive. If you are younger, remember that showing up emotionally matters more than showing up occasionally. Do not assume presence equals connection. Because in old age, feeling understood matters more than being related.
The fifth, and perhaps most difficult thing that matters more than family when you grow old, is your relationship with time. When people are young, time feels unlimited. There is always tomorrow, always later, always one day. But old age changes how time feels. Days feel quieter, years feel shorter, and suddenly time is no longer something you spend casually. This is when many elderly people experience a deep emotional shift. They stop asking, "What do others expect from me?" and start asking, "What do I want to do with the time I have left?" This question is not dramatic, it is honest. It does not come from fear of death, but from awareness of life. Many elderly people regret not loving more deeply, not resting sooner, not enjoying small moments. But the strongest regret is often this: living too much for others and too little for themselves. Family responsibilities often consume time without asking permission. Years pass in service, in sacrifice, in duty, and suddenly, time is no longer abundant. This is where clarity appears. You realize that relationships matter, but peace matters more. You realize that being loved is important, but being present is essential. Old age teaches that life is not measured by how much you gave, but by how consciously you lived. People who age peacefully are not those without pain or loss. They are those who made peace with time. They stopped rushing. They stopped postponing joy. They stopped waiting for permission to live. They accepted that life is finite and became gentler with themselves. This acceptance changes everything. Moments become meaningful. Silence becomes comforting. Ordinary days become enough. Family remains important. Love remains valuable. But old age reveals something quietly powerful. You cannot live fully if you are always living for others.
You must also live with yourself. This is not selfishness. It is emotional maturity. If you are younger, do not wait for old age to value your time. Protect it. Use it intentionally. Spend it on what truly nourishes you. And if you are already older, remember this: it is not too late to live gently. It is not too late to choose peace. It is not too late to enjoy what remains. Time does not ask for perfection. It asks for presence. This video was not meant to push family away. It was meant to place family in balance with self, health, peace, connection, and time. If this video resonated with you, take a moment to like it, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts or experiences in the comments. Your story may help someone feel understood. And before you leave, the next video on your screen goes even deeper into this topic, especially how to emotionally prepare for aging without fear or regret. That video is important for you, and it will help you see your life and your future more clearly. Thank you for listening. Take care of your time.